they're just doing whatever they want. They're making whatever boundaries. It's really like they have no fear of the Muslimin anymore. They have no care. And that starts from our own problem because the Muslimin ourselves, we're not like the Sahaba anymore. We're not even like the generations after them. You know, in the face of opposition, in the face where, you know, innovation is happening, instead of opposing it and instead of being those of the Sunnah and upholding the Haqq, nowadays, and even 50 so years ago before then, is that the Muslims caved because they wanted to control the power, control the empire, control the money, right? It's all about the money at the end of the day. If you look at the modern Middle East, that's what we see. Right? SubhanAllah, you go to Saudi Arabia, you see some crazy things now. Right? What's going on? This is part of the Sunnah to have wrestling matches and this and that. What's going on? Right? They're prioritizing, the prioritization is different now. It is not to only do it in the way the Prophet ﷺ did it. And we see this disease in the West as well nowadays, in all places, in all facets. This is the reason why somebody would not want to come to the masjid, for example. He's so enriched with his job and his wealth and his being. What do you mean? I can't spend 30 minutes to go to the masjid. I'm too busy, man. What are you talking about? Right? It happens all the time. The Shaykh was mentioning sometimes when you try to invite somebody to the masjid, it's almost like they're offended. Right? Wow, you want me to go? Who do you think I am? Right? SubhanAllah, what is this? So this is SubhanAllah that they're so attached to their position, they're so attached to their way. Right? Their tariqah is such that they can't get away from that. They have to stay like that, and they're not ready to change. And the first part, hubb al-dunya. What does it mean, hubb al-dunya? Can somebody tell me? Because if somebody were, if you told a 5-year-old, don't love the world, he would be a little bit confused. So can somebody explain for me, please? Somebody. Just small explanation, 1 or 2 words. Inshallah. Inshallah.
It's only thinking about the dunya.
Thinking about the dunya. Okay, so can you expand upon that a little bit?
Yeah, so let's say you were just one of those people that, like you say, you don't prioritize the deen and all this stuff. Because you're so busy just making sure whatever it takes to make it here.
MashaAllah.
So
Beautiful. He said, you're so busy for making sure you're doing whatever it takes here, and you're not worried about whatever it takes in the hereafter. Allah. Beautiful. So, this is true. Because when we talk about hubb al-dunya, we're not talking about, you know, the love of the things that you want to not burden others, for example, right? Part of our thing is we're not supposed to burden others with our needs, right? So we want to be self-sufficient. This is good. We need to be self-sufficient. I don't want to go on the street and ask people for money. That's not of the quality of a believer. That's not of the quality of a believer. Similarly, when it comes to, we should want and desire a position which will be more pleasing to Allah. A position which is going to grant us a higher status in Jannah, right? And the means of that will be in the dunya. So it is not bad to like this, right? It's also not bad to like that which will help others, right? We want that ability to help others that we don't have currently. So we want that ability, we want that status to reach that. It's all about the intention, right? We learned previously when we were talking about hasad, envy. One of the permissible, like the only time envy is permissible is when you're doing it not out of the fact of they don't deserve it and I do, but rather you're doing it because I see them doing good deed, I wish I could also do that thing as well, right? So this is not what we're talking about. When we're talking about hubb al-dunya, what we're talking about is, we're talking about that you're so entrenched, right, in the life of this world, that everything when it comes to the sins and the playfulness and the joy of this world, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, you know what Allah Ta'ala says, Surah Hadid. Allah Ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا لعب وله وزينة وتفاخر بينكم وتكاثر في الأموال والأولاد. This is a great definition for what we're talking about. لعب وله, it's just play, it's just amusement, games, messing around. We're not talking about the earth itself, we're not talking about I don't like Allah's creation. No, I love Allah's creation. I love the heavens and the earth. I love everything in the earth when it comes to Allah's creation. I love how He subjugated it for us, right? Sakhara samawat, like sakhara lakum, right? For us, He subjugated everything for us. Imagine, right? Even the mountains, how great they are. It's all for us. We don't hate that. But what we're hating is the life of this dunya, the life meaning the action, the things that cause us to just play around, mess around, right? Have competition, right? Between our families and our wealth, right? Competition, that's what Allah mentions, right? So, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about hubb dunya. And this is the thing that we need to watch the most. Because these dunya-y desires, if they preoccupy us, then we won't be able to see the greater good, as they say, right? The greater good meaning, what is there afterwards? You can't just focus, one day ahead of you. Focus on the main goal. The main goal is, what is my place in the hereafter? What is Allah going to say to me when my kitab is open? Right? How many things on that kitab am I going to be ashamed of? How many things have I made tawbah for already? Right? These are some of the benefits that we see, just even picturing Yawm al-Qiyamah, that I will be raised up and Allah Ta'ala will ask me individually. He knows my name. Right? He knows my name, He knows everything about me. And He will be asking me, and my book will be read, and everything I did wrong will be exposed about me, unless I make tawbah from it. So this is one of the things that we see, and we'll get to it inshallah later. So hubb al-dunya, and likewise karahiyat al-maut, they're very similar. Because if somebody is very loving of death, they don't want to let it go. Right? If I love the life so much, I love the sight, I just want to play. College kids nowadays, man, just live, man. Just live. What do you mean, man? Just live. You mean waste my time? That's what you want me to do? Kind of like that, right? Just live. Just go. Do whatever. This type of attitude makes you not want to leave. They'll say live life because you only got one life, so live it. That's actually your wrong personality. Just because you have one life, that's the reason you should be preparing yourself for the next one. You only have one chance, one body, one mind. So how about you prepare that for the hereafter instead of doing whatever you want with it? Because when they say live life, that's basically live up to all your desires. Just follow every single one of your desires. Let them do whatever with you, right? And we learn we're not supposed to. Like we're not supposed to follow our desires, right? If we follow our desires, we won't see what Allah Ta'ala is asking us to do. So karahiyat al-maut, dislike of death. And this is of those things that, subhanAllah, it reminded me one of the things Khalid ibn Walid radiallahu anhu said. Great commander, as we know, Khalid ibn Walid. And then in the time where Islam was spreading, one of his famous quotes, and I like this quote because I was thinking about it at that time. He said, like before the battle started, he said, I bring you men who desire death as you ardently desire your life. I bring you men who desire death as ardently as you desire your life. Right? That these are the Sahaba. Right? These are the men. These are the men when they say rijal. Right? This is what they're talking about. That they desire their status and going in the path of Allah and dying as a shaheed. In fact, a shaheed over and over again. If they pass away shaheed, they want to do it again. 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 This is the desire they have to pass away in the path of Allah. And they desire it more than you think you desire your life. You think you're in love with your life? No, because your fitrah is not attached to this life. You think you're as in love in your life than I am connected to Allah in the hereafter? No. The Sahaba are such that they had nothing to do with this life. Most of them simple folk. Even the governors, Umar is sending out here and there. Right? Those are the ones he trusted. He goes to visit them just to make sure they're doing good. One of them he visits barely anything in his house, right? This is like, I don't need much. Simple. This is why we live in simplicity, by the way. We shouldn't have so many pairs of clothes, shoes, this, that. We eat simple. We eat simple, we wear simple, and we act as a community. And we cannot be like those because like they were facing the Romans and the Persians. They loved this life and they hated death, right? And the only reason maybe they wanted to die is for glory, too. So it's also to fulfill their desires, right? If I want to die, I want to die so then people remember me. When it comes to the fact of, oh, people will praise me, people will this, that. So even then, it's still falling into that. SubhanAllah. And we see nowadays when it comes to death, even some people can't even discuss it. It's hard for them to even speak about it because they're so, like I said, they're so involved in the dunya matters, so they can't discuss the death. Whereas when it comes to the death of the Prophet ﷺ, we know Prophet ﷺ, he lost one of his sons, Ibrahim, during the time of the Madani Sirah. And it's a beautiful story because during this time, there was an eclipse, as we know. And then they call it, even scientists, they call it the eclipse of Muhammad. Because the sun got eclipsed by the moon, right? And if you go back, actually, in eclipse calculation, you go back, you can actually see it. You go and see the time of the Prophet, there was an eclipse that happened. And instead of saying, oh, my son died, or the sun is eclipsing because my son died, he didn't say that. He said, the sun and the moon, they do not eclipse for anybody's life or death, right? Nobody's life or death. This is all the sign of Allah, right? And so, Prophet ﷺ, he was open in clarifying that Allah is the giver of life and death, right? And He is like yuhyi wa yumeet, right? He is not going to ever die. He is ever living. And so, this is another reason why when it comes to disliking the death, we have to be okay with speaking about it, and we need to be okay when somebody we know has passed upon that next life. Right? Even though we know these people sometimes in the time of the Prophet as well, that they would be wailing when somebody would die, their loved one, keep on wailing, keep on mourning so many times, like, man, do you not believe that they have a greater place? Right? Let it be. Allah's qadr is there. Let them pass on to the next life. Because the fact, it's like, it's so, it's so hypocritical, or it's so interesting that you're saying we're not supposed to be attached to the dunya, and then when somebody leaves the dunya, you're mourning, keep mourning. Let them, you will join them, inshallah, in Jannah. May Allah make us together with all of those, of our family members in Jannah, for those, Allahumma ameen. And when it comes to long life, because we also want long, when it comes to long life, we should want it only for a couple of reasons. Right? Either we want to build on our good deeds list, or we want to make tawbah for anything we did wrong. Right? We're not trying to live life just to live life, as I clarified before. Inshallah, so what are some things that we can do to make sure we don't have this? Right? Wahan, this is the word, wahan. If you look at the Arabiya, wahan. So, we want to make sure we don't have this. And the thing I can say is, it reminds me, it comes down to thought, it comes down to what we're thinking about, how we are taking everything into perspective. When somebody, for example, who's leading salah, sometimes I've heard this, they'll say, pray this as if it's your last prayer. And then he'll turn around, Allahu Akbar, and he'll start. Right? Because if you pray every prayer like it's your last prayer, you would never want to leave sujood. Right? You want to keep praying, you want to have the most ikhlas ever, most khushu. If we prayed every single prayer like this, how much detached would we be from the dunya? Similarly, we should be thinking about the qabr and the hereafter, constantly, daily. Right? When it comes to dua, protecting us from the punishment of the qabr, when it comes to, Ya Allah, grant me my book in my right hand. We have to think about these things, because if we truly believe it, right, that's part of our belief, part of our aqidah, you have to believe in that. So a true belief is what? That you're preparing for it, and if you know it's going to happen, the stop sign is coming, then how about you slow down? How about you actually picture what's going to happen, so then you're ready for it, right? That's belief. Belief is not just, oh, yeah, sure, I know it's happening. No, if you know what's happening, you're going to prepare for it. And if you know what's happening, you're going to try your absolute best, and you're going to seek protection from any bad that could happen whatsoever. Even like when we go to a janazah, when the body is being lowered in the ground, right, and everybody's around them, and then everybody collectively throws dirt. The Mufti said, it's a great scene, it's an epic scene. Why? Because it shows the meaningless of this dunya. It means nothing. Because now at the end of the day, you made from clay, and now you go back to dirt, clay. Everybody throwing dirt. This life is over, it's nothing. All what your wealth's not coming with you, your family's not coming with you. What's the one thing that's coming with you? Your deeds. Wow. Your deeds. That's the one thing. Because then the angels are coming. What are they saying? Man Rabbuk. Already. It's already started. Who is your Lord? You know? What was your religion? What do you say about this man? The Prophet ﷺ. And only the one with true belief, only the one without wahy can be able to answer that. So we ask Allah Ta'ala, Ya Allah, protect us from the wahan in our hearts, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect us from the wahan in our community, in our hearts, Ya Allah. Protect us and the wahan in our children, Ya Allah. Protect our ummah from having wahan in our hearts. Ya Allah, protect our ummah from having wahan in our hearts. Allahumma inna na'udhu bika min al-wahan. اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من الوهن ومن الكبر ومن الرياء ومن البطر ومن النفاق يا رب العالمين وكل أمراض القلوب يا رب العالمين. ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. يا مقلب القلوب يا مقلب القلوب يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا الله. ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا الله. ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا الله. يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا الله. ربنا آمنا فاغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. We ask Allah Ta'ala for the most beautiful of pleasures in our grave and not of punishment. Ya Allah, grant us pleasure in our grave and not of punishment. Allow us to see the beautiful gardens of paradise in our grave and not the pits of the fire, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, allow us to have our books be given to us in our right hand, Ya Allah. In our right hand, Ya Allah. In our right hand, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, raise us amongst those who will be as-sabiqun, Ya Allah, the foremost. Allow us to be amongst the first to enter Jannah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Allow us to be the first to enter Jannah, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, protect our family and our friends and all of our loved ones from all the diseases of the heart. Ya Allah, and all those in Sudan and Gaza and Palestine, all those suffering, Ya Allah, protect them, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Protect them from any disease of the heart. Protect them in their health and their wealth and their families, Ya Rabbil Alameen. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وتوفنا مسلمين ولحقنا بالصالحين وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك ونتوب إليك. جزاكم الله خير وبارك الله فيك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
جزاك الله خير. بارك الله فيكم.